Proposals to raise the age at which retirees begin receiving government transfers of funds are generally discussed in terms of the effects on transfer recipients. But Andria Smythe has argued that delaying such transfers could blank wealth creation among working adults by lengthening the period in which they are providing financial support to their non-working parents. Which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? A. Stymie. B. Compound. C. Disparage. D. Outstrip.
In question number 4, we are talking about proposals to raise the age at which retirees begin receiving government transfers of funds. These are generally discussed in terms of the effects on transfer recipients. So usually they are talking about the people who are going to receive these funds. But what are the other effects? But Andria Smythe has argued that delaying such transfers could blank wealth creation among working adults. But this will also affect other working adults. How? Because by lengthening the period in which they are providing financial support to their non-working parents. So if the parents are not working anymore, so then they have to rely on their children to get the money from. So this will lengthen the period in which they are providing financial support to their non-working parents. So which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? So I think age 66 is the age at which they are retiring. So if begin receiving, to raise the age, so instead of 66, if they make it 70, what will happen? Years later they will receive. Which means if the person is not working from 66 to 70, these working adults or their children, they have to help the parents from 66 to 70. So this will lengthen the period in which they are providing financial support to their non-working parents. So which choice completes the text? So we have to also look at the meaning of these 4 words before we can decide.
Stymie.
So stymie is prevent or hinder the progress of. Compound. So we have to, there are many meanings of compound. In this case, will make something bad or worse, intensify the negative aspects of, compound the problems. Disparage, regard or represent as being of little worth. And outstrip, which is exceed, move faster than, and overtake. So which do you think we should choose? So if you said A, stymie, that is correct. Choice A is the best answer because it most logically completes the text discussion of the consequences of raising the age at which retirees begin receiving government funds. The text indicates that raising the age for these funds is usually discussed in terms of effects on fund recipients, but that Andria Smythe is instead considering the effects on working family members who care for retirees. Smythe notes that raising the age for the funds would increase the length of time retirees are dependent on financial assistance from working family members. So this is suggested to have an effect on wealth creation for those workers, and most logically that effect would be disadvantageous. Thus, stymie, which means to prevent or greatly hinder, is the most logical choice in context.
Choice B is incorrect, because in this context, compound would most nearly mean multiply or greatly enhance. The text indicates that raising the age at which retirees are eligible for government funds will increase the amount of time retirees are dependent on working family members for financial support. This would likely have a negative rather than a positive effect on wealth creation. Choice C is incorrect because in this context, disparage would most nearly mean criticize or defame. Nothing in the text suggests that raising the age at which retirees are eligible for government funds would defame wealth creation among working adults. Choice D is incorrect because in this context, outstrip would most nearly mean to exceed, and nothing in the text indicates that the financial support provided to retirees would exceed the amount of wealth these workers can create. The text does suggest that workers providing funds to retirees works against those workers' wealth accumulation, but not that the support to retirees exceeds the workers' accumulated wealth.